Sorry, ladies, I'm not sure what's happening here. Are
It's
you
up now.
able to you see it
Yeah,
now?
yes.
Okay, not sure what happened there. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you for joining me. Today's seminar is going to be The Power in Your Words. How to reclaim your life through your words. So I'm really excited about this seminar today, as it does go with my new affirmation book. But I really just wanted to share with you how sometimes our words is what is restricting us from moving ahead. So my company, in case some of you did not know, my company is Innerbridge Solutions. My name is Lakayan Outerbridge, and I am a transformation mindset life coach. My company, is totally about you reclaiming your life, you restoring, regenerating, and reviving your inner soul. I aim to restore the broken places, helping you to heal your inner self. I want you to regenerate your inner power and reignite your passion. And I help you to revive your purpose so that you can connect to your future. So let's have a conversation. Why I needed to rewrite my narrative. This is me. This is me about 10 to 15 years ago. And I was sitting in my car just after work, 5 p.m. I had just gotten home and I was so drained. I was at the time coming out of domestic violence. I hated my job. I had been let go around the same time for redundancy. And I was temping and trying to financially stay stable for myself and my daughter. I began to have panic attacks. I began to suffer with anxiety. I had so many different things that began to come up inside of me that I did not even realize that I had from my childhood. And because of the domestic violence, it had been coming out in my behavior. It had been coming out in the way that I associated with people. I began to isolate myself. I was very drained. And I needed to figure out a way, if I was going to raise my daughter in a healthy way, I needed to figure out how was I going to rewrite my narrative. Just so you know who I am, and I hope you can see me on the screen here. I was abandoned by my mom at the age of 6. Right? She left me with my grandmother. And in most cases, when this happens in different cultures, it's because the mother or the family member wants to go off and find work. Right? But in my case and in my situation, my mother was a drug addict, and I didn't know it at the time. I just knew that she had planned to go on a trip and she never came back. So imagine 6-year-old me longing over the years, wanting to be with my mother. When I was approximately 12 years old, I went to go live with my father. My grandmother at the time felt that living with my father, who was married and he had 2 children, that was the best opportunity for me. Little did she know that I would be molested. Little did she know that my father was still using drugs at the time, and he was a functioning drug addict. And little did she know that my stepmother, who loves me now, was also struggling with having me in her household. And so I didn't receive love. I was totally feeling like I had been abandoned again. And so as I went into my adult years looking for love, looking for attention, I fell involved in, with this relationship with someone who I thought was a friend. And I truly thought that I can share with him my emotions. I can be able to have a healthy relationship with him because he was broken too, right? But in my ignorance, I began to start this relationship with him, and it was failing. He had cheated a few times. It was a violent situation. And there I was now with a young daughter and not knowing how to get out. I remember the stress that caused me. I remember that very, very dark place, right? And what happened with myself was I had gotten out of the situation physically, but mentally, I was still there. Mentally, I was still trapped, right? And so I remember being at my daughter's school one day, and my heart was racing. I was having an anxiety attack, but I didn't know it at the time. I couldn't breathe. And all I wanted to do was leave the area as quick as possible so that my daughter did not see me in this circumstance. And I went straight to the hospital, and it wasn't for almost a year that I didn't, I finally realized through the doctor that I was having these anxiety attacks. I needed to change my life. I needed to rewrite my narrative because otherwise I was not going to be successful. I wasn't going to be a great person for my daughter. I was failing. This is me now. I have relocated to the United Kingdom. I am in university studying the career that I want, which is criminology and counseling. I am a transformation mindset life coach. And my mission over the last few years is to help women reclaim their lives. Many of the women that I've helped have hit rock bottom emotionally and mentally, and I've taken them to a place in their life where they are ultimately changing their circumstance and they are going after the dreams that they want. And one of the things that I truly found is that it was in their words. It was keeping their old story attached to them, and they kept replaying it in their mind constantly over and over and over again instead of looking forward to the future, rewriting their narrative and figuring out how can I move on from these circumstances. So this is what we are going to talk about today. My question to everyone, if you want to share, is what will your next chapter look like? Is there anything in the picture here that represents your future, anything that you want? What are your goals? If anyone wishes to share, they can open up the mic and they can discuss it. I would say for myself, I know that I'm in school right now. I've left a very high paying job when I left Bermuda, but it was not my purpose. It was not what I wanted to do with my life. So me pursuing my dreams is ultimately the life that I'm trying to get into, right? And that is where I've created steps so that I can take that. I have one more year left of university. I have a thriving business. I have days where I can go sit in Starbucks and just enjoy my day when I want to. Or if a friend of mine says, okay, and let's go do this today, I have created a life that allows me to live purposefully. I have created a life that I have set out for my goals to go after what it is that I want. Okay. So what happened? What happened to you that made you want to give up on your goals, give up on your dreams, start using words that had self-doubt, that you didn't believe in yourself, that you did not want to go after the things that you desired, right? Or you found yourself in circumstances that you were angry all the time, that you were speaking to your children or speaking to your coworkers, your friends in a manner that was not positive, but it was also not loving and a representation of yourself. There was something inside of you, something in your mind that clicked and it shut off. Oftentimes, when you are a child, you face different traumas, different abuse, different things that affect you when you get older, right? Life circumstances happen. You will find yourself that if your parents had a toxic relationship, or if you didn't have good friendships, as you grow older, you will find that you yourself are taking along with you pieces of those circumstances into your adulthood. And you're trying to heal from your childhood wounds, and you're trying to move ahead. But how do you do that? These childhood wounds that we're talking about, they are called the 5 wounds of your soul. Oftentimes, when you are, going through different circumstances, even into your adulthood, you will take this with you, and it translates into how you treat yourself. So let's talk about that, okay? Rejection. If you were rejected as a child, rejected into your teenage years, or even into your adult years in relationships that you had, they would make you feel unwanted, unloved, abandoned. And these are feelings that arise in you where you begin to feel rejected in very personal ways. And as a result of that rejection, you begin to self-reject yourself. You begin to tell yourself, oh no, I can't do it. Or you begin not to accept things about yourself because you were rejected. If you were abandoned as a child, such as myself, you have feelings where you're going to be left alone. You're going to take decisions that you would stay in a situation because you just want to be connected to that individual. You feel betrayed, deserted. This often leads to fear of being rejected, fear of being left behind, and you then self-abandon yourself. Now, I had to take a moment and think about that because I experienced abandonment, and I used to say, well, how did I self-abandon myself? How did I disconnect from who I was? And that's truly it. I shut off feelings. I shut off having an experience with other people, opening up to others, even wanting to say, oh, I like this, or oh, I enjoy spending time at the movies, or I enjoy spending time, reading. Anything that I liked for myself, I pushed away. Any relationship that I wanted, such as a relationship with my grandmother, I pushed away. I began to have that self-abandonment. Another one is betrayal. Betrayal is a wound caused by a breach of trust or loyalty. It involves the hurt and disappointment arising from actions of someone very close to you, and it also considers the broken promises. That is one of the hardest wounds that a lot of people that I've spoken to in my practice, they experience. So I just want to stop here for a moment, because a lot of people feel like they were betrayed by their parents. Some people feel like they were betrayed by their father if their father was not in their relationship. Some people feel like, when they try to express themselves and being able to being open to someone that they truly trusted, and that person misused their trust, so their person came in and hurt them in a very deep way, they begin to betray their self, right? There's a cutoff of self-love. There's a cutoff of feeling like they belong. And this truly is not something that is productive or good for yourselves as you move forward, okay? And what I'm going to do is also I'll send you a copy of the slides so that you can also read and take a moment just to digest about the 5 wounds of the soul and how they may have affected you. How did humiliation affect you? Did you feel embarrassed as a child? Did you feel shamed as a child when something happened to yourself? When you talk about self-injustice, did you feel like you were treated fairly? Were you experiencing harm from someone like myself who had been molested? These are things that you can tap into and understand why am I thinking the way that I am? Why do I have so much pain and hurt that it's coming out in my words? It's coming out when I'm speaking to someone. One of the ways that it manifests in your life is through negative self-talk, okay? And that's what we're here to talk about today. When it manifests in your life and you haven't been able to heal and you haven't been able to sort out the emotions that you are experiencing, it can show up in your life and in an emotional way, a personal way, or a mental way. So as we discuss this today, when it shows up in your life in an emotional way, these are thoughts that reflect a sense of negative self-worth. You're very vulnerable to the pain that's related to your past experiences and your perception of the experience. You begin to tell yourself that you're unlovable. You feel guilty. You feel helpless, right? There's some resentment that is going on. Oftentimes, you can feel lost, worthless, and broken. When you speak about the mental side, you can begin to put things, this is where your thoughts and your beliefs affect your perception, but mainly your mindset, right? I'm incapable. So you don't even try. You feel trapped in a situation, but because you don't know how to get out of that situation, you don't look for an avenue to get out. You just accept and settle. You feel defeated, unworthy, inadequate, useless. When your mindset has been programmed to think in a negative way, you don't see yourself getting out. And oftentimes you stay in that situation because you know that you want to get out, but it feels like home to you. As uncomfortable as it may be, it feels like, well, I've experienced this all of my life. I don't know how to change it. So I'm just going to settle for what I'm going through. When it becomes personal, this is your self-identity. This is where you begin to verbalize. This is where you begin even to share. So imagine that you're beginning to share this with your children. You're beginning to share your beliefs, your thought patterns, the things that you truly deep down inside of you take into consideration. And this is what you're spitting out, what you've already inputting, what you're outputting to those around you that you say that you love, right? And so imagine if you believe that you're undeserving, and you have a young child that's 10 years old and they want to experience something new, you and your words are also telling them that they are undeserving. You are showing them that they are invisible, that they're irrelevant. And in many cases, if your actions are not displaying love, and if your actions are not showing them that you care about them, and you're not cognizant of how you are behaving around your children, around the people that you love, you will begin to project your inner feelings to them. So if you feel unvalued, you're going to show that to your loved ones. If you feel like you're overlooked, unrecognized, how does that show up in your day-to-day life? These are emotionally charged words. So when you feel something, you're in an argument, you cannot think logically because you have these feelings that you remember unconsciously from your childhood that you were projecting into your adulthood. And you are unable to move forward because you have a low self-esteem and your self-image is not where it should be. Are your wounds keeping you alive? Are your wounds keeping you alive, or are they killing you? Are you ready to truly change the way that you think, change the way that you speak, and change how you view your life? Oftentimes, when your wounds have taken over, this is where you have self-defeating questions, right? This is totally where what we are talking about today, how it shows up when you want to go after your dreams, when you want to do something that you truly, truly have a desire for, and you begin to speak negative to yourself. Some of the questions that some of my clients reiterate back to me, excuse me, is, why does this always happen to me? Why am I always in these type of circumstances? What's the point of trying when nothing ever works for me? Will I ever be good enough for anyone if I want to be in a relationship? All my relationships have failed in the past. There must be something wrong with me. Why can't I just get over my past? Why can't I just get over the fact that I was abused, that I was raped, molested, whatever situation has happened to you, it's on constant replay in your mind, and it's stopping you from taking a step forward. Am I destined to be stuck in this situation? You know, every time I try to move ahead, something happens, and I always self-sabotage myself. The biggest one for me was, I can't go back to school. I can't leave this job. I'm definitely not good enough to pass. All of these types of questions that you say to yourself are self-defeating from the onset. As soon as you say them, you have automatically given yourself a no. As soon as you think them, you have automatically given yourself a no. You have told yourself that you can accomplish anything at all without trying, without researching, without even looking it up, because I've told myself I cannot go after that. You have given yourself a no. And what I truly want to help you with is immediately telling yourself, yes, yes. Can I go speak in front of all of these people? Yes. Can I start my own business? Yes. Can I take that course? Yes. I want you to get to a point where you are changing your narrative on the onset, because if you tell yourself yes, you will begin to look for ways to go after your yes. And I will begin to show you ways that you can do that. When you ask yourself these self-defeating questions, here are a few ways that it truly brings yourself down and impacts you, right? So the first one, am I destined to be stuck in this situation forever? This question truly implies that you have no control over your own life. You are promoting a sense of hopelessness, and you've resigned already. You're looking at it and you're saying this is an undesirable situation, but you're not flipping that to think, you know what? I can go after what I want. I can have control over my life. Why bother trying? I'll just fail anyway. When you say this to yourself, you reflect a defeatist mindset. You assume failure is inevitable, regardless of what anyone else says to you. You could have the best friend, you could have a person who says to you constantly that you can accomplish something in your life, right? But because you keep saying to yourself, no, I can't do that, you are discouraging yourself, and you end up not taking actions toward your goals. What if everything goes wrong? This focuses on the potential of a negative outcome. Many people who ask this question suffer from anxiety. The thinking of the future, the thinking of what's going to happen in the future so far ahead that they already have in their mind that I'm just going to fail, that something is going to happen. I have experienced it, right? When I was going to move across to the UK, it was just going to be my daughter and I. And I, for probably a year and a half, talked myself out of relocating to the UK, because I kept saying to myself, what happens? It's just me and my daughter. There's no one that's going to be there for us. There's going to be no one who's going to help me if I have these panic attacks. All of these different things I used to say to myself. I've been in the UK for over 7 years now. My daughter and I are both in university. We are both successful, and I have made a good amount of new friends and created a support system around myself, because I had to stop and I had to say, if I continue thinking of the negative, the positive would never come. And my daughter began to speak in the negative as well. Mama, I don't want to go off to university because it's too many people there. She was in high school here and she was approaching college. And I remember the conversation. We were outside of ESTA and she had a breakdown as we were registering for the school. And she said, I do not want to go. Can I just go out and work? And I said, no, you have to go. And she was like, well, you didn't want to do this. And she listed off a few things that I myself had experienced that she had seen. And there I was having to try to encourage her on something that I myself wasn't even truly believing, because I didn't believe it for myself, but I expected it of her. So I needed to change myself so that I can show her, if I can do it, you can do it too. This is your time. This is your time to reset your life. An affirmation. Like a new seed planted in fertile soil, I am ready to sprout and bloom. I release all self-doubt and nurture the belief that I am capable of incredible growth and transformation. Listen, you have to plant new seeds, right? You have to change your mindset. You have to speak differently. You have to think differently. And sometimes you have to change the people that you hang around, because they might be negative, right? If you find that the plant that you are trying to grow, you have watered it, you have done everything that you're supposed to do, and it's still not growing, it's still not producing any fruits. And if you were to go and speak to a gardener, they may tell you, well, this particular plant, it needs sunlight. It needs a lot of sunlight. So you're going to have to move it in order to nurture it, in order for it to grow. That is the same way that you need to think about your goals, your dreams, and where it is that you want to go in your life. And even if you don't know what dreams you have right now, if you want better for your situation, you have to plant the seed. You have to try to figure out, how am I going to allow my seeds that I'm planting now in my life? I understand that this is what happened to me as a child, but I am an adult and I have control of me now. Excuse me. It is time for you to restore your inner self. This is where you begin to find your inner self. You begin to listen to who you are inside, not what mom told you, not what grandma told you, not what the experiences that you had brought into your life. This is about you. This is you figuring out, who am I as a person? Having deep conversations with yourself so that you can trust your intuition, so that you can trust that inner voice that is trying to direct you on where to go. The ways that you can do that is by having self-forgiveness, self-acceptance, self-respect, loyalty to yourself, and self-love. When we talk about self-forgiveness, right? Sometimes people say to me, what do you mean by self-forgiveness? I know I have to forgive other people, and it's hard for me to forgive other people, but why would I have to forgive myself? Well, I want to tell you that forgiveness is for you, right? And sometimes we make decisions that we may regret later. And we have to forgive ourselves for that. We have to recognize that everyone is human and everyone makes mistakes. One example I would say here is I never wanted to have children. I never wanted to have children. And when I got pregnant, I couldn't do anything about it because I had just had fibroid surgery less than 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks ago. So I was 21 years old and I was so angry with myself. It wasn't until many, many years later that I sat down and forgave myself because I didn't want to be like my mother. I wanted to be in a position where I cared and loved my daughter. I wanted to be in a position where I had a healthy, happy family, where there wasn't any issues in regards to her father and I. And there was so much self-blame, and also there was so much guilt, right? But I needed to get to a point where I released myself of that situation, where I said, yes, I made a mistake. I played a role in this situation. In order for me to have control of my next steps, I need to forgive myself and I need to move on in a healthy way. So forgiving yourself is a very, very important step. And I recommend that you go through your journals and you write so that you can decide what are some areas that you might have made a decision. It might have impacted your life in a certain way, and you need to forgive yourself. Self-acceptance is about embracing yourself unconditionally in a positive way, right? No matter what you are having or what is going on in your life, you have to look at yourself and say, this body of mine is my shell. It is allowing me to get up every morning. I may want to lose some pounds. I may wish that I was in a better position, but right now I love me. I need to celebrate my uniqueness. I need to understand that I wasn't the person that I was 15 years ago. I am the person that I am today. I've grown, I've developed, and I need to accept myself, right? When you talk about self-respect, this is my favorite one, okay? And this is because once you put boundaries in place, you will understand how much your time is worth. I'm just going to say that again, okay? When you put boundaries in place, you would understand the value of your time, okay? Your time is precious. You are in control every single day of your life, of your time, what you decide to do with it. And without boundaries, people are going to come in and they are going to tell you what they want you to do, what they think should happen with your life, right? But when you have self-respect, when you have self-love, you begin to say, hold up, I don't think I want to go in that direction, or this relationship is not for me, because you are able to put yourself first in that situation, knowing what it is that you want and what truly makes you happy. You begin to stand up for yourself. And that in itself is a very, very important thing that I truly work on with my clients, because once you get the self-respect down, you will begin to be very much loyal to yourself, right? You will begin to honor your own well-being. You will begin to prioritize the things that you desire, the things that you want to do, and taking care of yourself. You will begin to listen to your intuition. You have wisdom. You have everything that is inside of you to make the right decisions. But sometimes we have had so much external noise that we don't know who to listen to, or we have to go and ask someone their opinion. Once you begin to listen to yourself, once you begin to listen to your intuition, you will begin to be loyal to yourself. That translates in all of this is self-love, right? You need to practice self-compassion, give yourself grace, embrace your weaknesses, your imperfections, and prioritize what you want in your life. If you can see this image here, I tell my clients, we are not building walls. We are building chains that integrate and work together and flow, and we want it to be an unbreakable internal chain that we are working on. So if you can see this, this is an image of a chain where they are putting the pieces together, right? And when you work on your internal self, you will begin to have a strong chain that will have inner trust, inner wisdom. You'll be able to validate yourself, self-impose boundaries, understanding of yourself, and having a stronger intuition. It will begin to roll like clockwork. It will begin to, when you are encountering a situation, you will be able to think positively. You'll be able to set up and let people know immediately what is good for you and what is not good for you. This is a place where you are trying to aim so that you can regenerate your inner power. It's time for you to rewrite your narrative. It is time for you to take a moment, sit in it, and say, what do I want? What do I truly want? How do I want to spend the next 10 years of my life? Do I want to be in the same position, or do I want to move ahead? When I think about my life, I have to tell you that every single day is a day where I have to choose to rewrite my story. Every day I was still abandoned. I'm still a victim of molestation. I still used to be broke and poor. I still had very bad relationships. There are days when I struggle with my thyroid. And I also have the effects of my parents with their drug abuse. I'm a single parent, and I used to be very angry. Every single day, I have to work on me. Every single day, I have to say, I want better for myself. I am taking steps so that I can pursue my dreams. I'm breaking generational curses. I have to show up unapologetically for myself every single day. I have to put healthy boundaries in place for myself and also for others. And even when, because I suffer from thyroid, even when it feels like, what is the point in going for a walk or doing something that I don't want to do, I still have to show up for myself every single day. I deserve it. I'm worthy of that. I deserve to have greatness. I tell myself different words every single day. And one of the ways for you to change your narrative is to change your words. Write a list of words that you can use in your daily speech, that you can use as you go throughout the day, as you talk to yourself, as you have conversations with your children, that you will begin to display a better way of thinking, a better way that you will be able to change your narrative. I flourish. I have courage. I am inspired to go and purchase a house when that happens. I am motivated. I can uplift myself and I can uplift others. I shall be prosperous, and all those that are attached to me shall receive my overflow. I am triumphant in everything that I touch. I am empowered to go after the dreams and any ideal that comes inside of my mind that I want to pursue. I can fulfill it. When you begin to change your words, I want you to understand that the things around you begin to change. The way that you begin to see your life begins to change. You would see that people would then respond to you in a positive way, using those same words back to you as they try to motivate you, as they try to show you compassion, as they begin to bring some happiness into your life. One of my clients always was using some negative words, right? And I want to share with you what happened with her. So when I began to work with her, she was very depressed. She had to relocate from her home state, and she was ending up going to move back in with her mother. She was 50 years old, and life was not working for her at the time. And as we worked together, we began to get her to do things that would be more productive and make her happy in life. She began walking, right? And she was saying to me, I'm really truly addicted to walking now. I have to go walking 2 to 3 times a day sometimes because it truly gets me into a new feeling and I'm really excited about it. And I had to tell her and show her that the word addiction was not a good word for her to use. Now, it was a great word. I'm sorry, it was a great situation for her to be walking and enjoying walking because that became a stress reliever for her. But because she was using the word addicted, if for whatever reason she had to stop walking, her work had taken over, or she had to do something for her mom, was that now going to put her in a bad state of mind? Because she had become reliant on the walking. And so I helped her to see that whilst it was a good thing for her to go out walking, she also had to excuse me, I apologize. She also had to change her wording so that she wasn't reliant on it, and find other ways as well to make her happy. So this is one of her own reviews that she done after each session, where she said, in my last session, she has helped me to realize the power of my words. The two examples that came to mind is do not use the word addiction and use the word automated when writing my money affirmation. Bringing this information to my attention was very powerful. And what she's speaking about when we talked about automated is she is in the process of writing her own affirmations and what she wants in her money as far as her business is concerned. And she was thinking of doing it where she was so much hands-on. And I told her that, you know, if you were thinking about it in an automated way, in a way that it comes to you naturally, then that is what's going to happen because you're changing your narrative. And so I just truly wanted to share with you that transformation that happened with my client, one of my clients. So I want you to get to a point where you are dreaming and you are going forward. There is power in your words. There is power in what you say, in what you speak. Your change will not come if you wait for some other person or some other time. You are the one you've been waiting for. You are the change that you seek. This is a quote from Barack Obama. And I switch this, and I encourage you to switch it and put I. I am the change. I'm sorry. My change will not come if I wait for some other person or some other time. I am the one that I've been waiting for. I am the change that I seek. This is where growth happens. When you begin to take in and you begin to focus on I, how can I change? How can I grow? And how can I become a different person? So what I want to share with you is a part of my daily affirmations, right? And this is a new book that I've put together to help you and help my clients to have a daily routine, adding it to your daily journal where you are creating words that are positive so that you can change the negative programming that you have in your system. This will create a mind shift, okay? And you will be able to be more confident, and your self-belief is going to change as well. This will truly, it's been impactful for me with my affirmations. I have a few notes that I actually stick up around my house as I go throughout my day. And sometimes I even, if I'm really finding myself in a situation, I may write something positive down and put it inside of my phone so that every so often, every couple of hours, I'm pulling it out and I'm reading it so that I can begin to focus. I can begin to put myself in an emotional state where I know what it is that I'm going after, right? I will then become very confident as I begin to say to myself, I am powerful. Back 10 years ago, back to that picture that you saw, I was weak. I was broken. I spoke certain things into existence so that I can change my narrative. I wanted to focus on going off to school. I wrote that down. I actually have it in my wallet. Okay, I wrote it in 2013, and I said, I will be in university and my daughter will be studying counseling. I wrote all of that down, and I made that switch and I moved in 2016. It helped me to be self-aware, and it helped me to remind myself every single day of what I truly want in my life, what it is that I envision for myself, what I want to go after. And I encourage you to consider this, because you too can go after your dreams. You too can go after the things that you want in your life. It's up to you. It is your time to take the steps. So I do encourage you, if you are looking for a way for you to begin, I encourage you to take a look at my book, okay? Now, the book does consist of 12 empowering affirmation ebooks. When you download it, you will get a book on self-love, you will get a book on forgiveness, letting go, trusting your inner self, and growth. There are 12 topics that you can choose along your day, depending on what it is that you might personally be going through. And you can decide, I want to build my life. I'm looking for an affirmation that's going to help me be motivated so that I can move forward. I'm looking for something that I can release some emotional feelings that I have at the moment, and I want to be able to move forward. So I'm just going to take a second here as I switch screens so I can show you a copy of the book when you log into the system. Are you able to see the book here? If someone could just put a thumbs up for me and let me know. Yes, okay, perfect. So when you log into my coaching system, okay, you will see a screen that looks like this. And here are the books that are laid out for yourself that you will be able to click on and be able to see. As you saw, the book itself is for $24.99, okay? And it's I've made it that price so that it's more affordable for everyone, but I wanted it to be a bundle so that you can have access to what it is that you're feeling at any particular time. And you wouldn't feel like, okay, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to read. I'm not going to be inspired today. So when you go into the system, if you want to download and you don't want to use the online coaching program that I have here, or using my own coaching app that I have, once you download the book, you do have access to my coaching app as well. So if you want to download the book, there is a section here where you can download it in PDF form because it is an ebook, okay? So it is automatically accessible to yourself. But if you choose, then you will be able to see it in the ebook form that I have here as well. Okay, and just so that you can see, just clicking on the different sections for you. And this book is Emotional Freedom. And it provides you with some information as well on emotional freedom. And then you will get to your affirmations, okay? And I've also allowed it so that you can write and have the ability to express yourself after you've read that particular affirmation. Okay. So as I said, if you are interested, okay, in having powerful words, changing how you speak to yourself every single day, this may be the first step for you. Okay, this may be something that you can consider on how you want to move forward in your life. Okay, I do encourage you to grab the book and download it. It's beautiful pictures. I've had some good reviews on the book as well. And if you're interested in it, let me know if you have any issues at all. In addition to that, if you are interested in, joining the program and you're interested in reclaiming your narrative, changing the way that you think, and you want to work with me personally, this here is the program that I've put together. It is 6 informative, personalized, okay? So, every single person that has come to me may come with a different scenario and a different situation. And so whilst I have a book package for everyone, okay, I recognize that each of my clients are different. And so once we have that initial one-to-one, we would program the outline just for yourself so that you are able to get the work that you need. You are able to shift your perspective and transform your life according to your own personal life at the moment. If you log in by the 31st of this month and you choose the program, please also note that I do have payment plans as well, okay? That you can get 25% off of the program, okay? Just by coming here today, you will be able to get 25% off. And that's 25% off of the monthly fee as well, if you choose to do the payment plan. Okay, so if this is something that you are interested in, you can certainly let me know. If you wish to receive the slides, I can certainly send them out to you on the system. And as I said, I do hope that you are empowered. I hope that you are encouraged to change your narrative. I hope that you find reasoning, look for your why. Why do I want a different life? And I'm hoping that you will go after the life that you want so that you can rise and reign. Thank you so much, Albany, for joining. I do appreciate that. So it's a few comments here that I want to read out here. That's okay, Ritzy, that your device kept cutting out. This is a recording, so if you want to listen to the recording as well, you certainly are able to, and I'll send you the slides so that you can read them as well. And thank you so much for joining. So thank you very much, Albany, for your congratulations on the book as well. I do, Albany is one of my clients. Albany is one of my clients, and you know, she has truly been empowered as she has transformed her life. So I truly hope that anyone, if you want to come on and say anything, if you have a question about the webinar, I'd love to answer those for you as well. Okay, yes, Marlene, definitely. I'll connect with you. If you put your, I have your email address as you registered, and I'll certainly send you an email after this session here. All emails do come from, I'll just put my email in here. So you will receive an email from here. Look out for the email just in case it does go to your spam, okay? And I will be happy to send you some information as well. Thank you, Albany. Albany said I'm amazing. Thank you so much for that. Yes, I do appreciate that. So I do appreciate everyone that is joined. Does anyone else have anything else that they want to say? Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I know you don't want to come on, but I really, truly appreciate you. And thank you. Really good session. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Yes, LB, I know you've been sick for the last few days. So, guys, thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate that. And I hope that you rise and reign as you go forward in your life. Marlene said this webinar was great, very informative. So thank you very much. I just want to be a blessing, and I just want to be able to share with you, you know, the power in your words, how you can restore your life, regenerate your purpose, and revive yourself by changing a few things within your livelihood, the way that you do things. And we can start by just changing what we say. Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. You're so welcome, Marlene. Thank you so much.